All right, everybody, happy Somatic Sunday. So, following up on getting into deeper coherence and cleaning up our relationship to money. Remember what we always say that everything's a relationship. You've heard me say this a million times, and I'm going to continue saying it. So, whether you are in a relationship with a friend, a lover, your child, your relationship to the work you do, your relationship to your clients, you also have a relationship to food and to money. Everything's a relationship. And one of the biggest things that we covered in our last call is really starting to dive a little bit deeper into understanding, do we have a regulated relationship? Do we have a regulated relationship with money? And one of the biggest things we discovered is that no, most people don't. And so it's like, okay, well, how can we get into a regulated relationship? One of the biggest tools that I teach, and I share this with everybody, specifically when I'm working with people who are wanting to scale. And if you don't know what scaling means, it's a loop, basically. We all know that the nervous system loops, right? This is why we have our positive feedback loops, patterns, right? I wake up, I drink my cup of coffee. Like, did I bring my cup of coffee here to my office space? No, I didn't. Oh no, I feel kind of like, I need my water. My water has to look this way. Best prediction of future behavior is what, everybody? Psychology one-on-one. What is the best prediction of future behavior? Tell me. Anybody, drop it in the chat or say it out loud. What is the best prediction of future behavior? Past behavior, right? So everything's a pattern. So again, we covered this, right? The most interesting part for everyone here to really kind of get an idea is that patterns are not just in our behavior. Patterns are literally in the entire universe existence. So when I'm thinking about everything, when I'm thinking about atoms, um, um, mathematical equations, we see it across the board. Like, who here is familiar with the Fibonacci sequence, right? There's these patterns that repeat themselves through scale. And what we're noticing for everything from Planck, which is tiny, to these huge macro, micro to macro scale, is that the universe or existence is repeating itself through scale. So it's a pattern. So we live in the very nature of the world, the universe, the life we live is patterns. And so it's like, whoa, if I don't like the life I live, does that mean that I'm potentially stuck in an unfavorable pattern? Question mark. Serious question, everybody. If you look out at your life and you run an audit and you're like, I'm remember the phrase that I came up with? This is long before I even was teaching TVM. This is something I was telling my clients when I just had a practice. The phrase was different face, same relationship. Why do you think I dove deep into trauma research? I'm like my people, my clients, the people that are coming to work with me are repeating the same patterns. So I was like, wow, it's happening externally and it comes back and it reflects to us. And for those of you that are spiritual, for those of you that are in your self-development from that perspective, this is where they're like, oh, everything's a mirror. What do they mean everything's a mirror? What's happening in your internal landscape, everybody memorize this. What's happening in your internal landscape is reflected in your external landscape. You don't like what's happening in your life on the outside? It's time to look where? Inside, right? And who's an expert at that? Us, we. And this is why I'm investing my time, energy, and effort this month really to nurture more than I have in the past because I'm always going to be nurturing you all. I love this community and but really dedicating to nurturing this community specifically around wealth and money. So again, what is scaling? Scaling is when a person is in a cycle or a loop or a pattern that they are repeating, they can't get out of. And this is the most interesting part because who here is starting to draw a parallel in their mind that the pattern is not just around different face, same relationship, which means romantic. The scaling, when you're thinking about all these business coaches and what they're doing, whatever, they're just saying that they're trying to change the pattern that you're stuck in. I'm going to help you break through the threshold What they mean, in other words, is they're going to help you change the sequence or the pattern you're in. So, therefore, now you are able to charge more, get the clients that pay more, et cetera, et cetera. That's what their scaling mechanism is. It's basically, I'm going to change your pattern. Again, dear community, who is an expert on patterns? People who are experts on somatic memory banks. Us. So there's again, this is your empowerment piece. This is here. This is why I'm here. Even if I'm not feeling so good, I'm here because I love you. I'm here because I view us optimized. Where one goes, we all go. We're operating in again my commitment to non-zero sum, where we all win, 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 win. There's enough for everybody. So what does this mean for us? Again, in our call here today, two very important elements. One is deepening our somatic awareness around our relationship to wealth, money, understanding. Here's your homework, everybody. One piece of your homework that's going to be in your worksheet. What kind of pattern are you in? And you will notice this. You are in a pattern. You don't need a business coach. I'm telling you right now, you are in a money pattern. You are receiving money to a certain height. You may hit a ceiling, but that's the most you've received. And are you able to sustain it? So, what is the average that you're able to sustain in your bank account? Or does your bank account come all the way down to zero and then you rebuild again? It's a pattern. I'm asking you to have an honest audit. Again, everyone knows this. I love audits. Audits is what's going to make you extremely successful. We're here to set you up for success. Why is success important? Because when we have success, we have healthier patterns. What does success mean? Healthier patterns. What does that mean? It frees up time so that we can love more. So we can use our energy for love opposed to trying to find solutions to problems. So again, moving away from the pattern of, I need to find solutions to problems because I'm stuck in a pattern that has a lot of problems to I'm going to be in a pattern that is really successful, is smooth in the sense that the solution's already in place and it's running its own error correcting code, which is what we do with TVM, right? So you imagine TVM being applied to your life, running the error correcting code. You have systems in place, mechanisms in place that it's smooth and that frees you up so that you can love everybody. Like literally yesterday, earlier today in my prayer group that I lead and I share, why are we here? We're here for love. I know I'm here for love. The whole point is love. And to me, money, wealth, success, these are not the driving forces. They have never been the driving forces for our species, even from an evolutionary perspective. These are side that you cannot have that as the goal. The goal is love. And so if I'm in dedication to love, it's like I want to create as much time, space so I can experience love. Like, oh my goodness. Like, hello, seriously, everybody. I'm going to invite you into this question right now somatically. Bring your hands to your body, bring your hand saying hello to the consciousness within, truly just tuning in, taking a deep breath in. And then for the TVM practitioners, if you want to do a little bit of your oxytocin protocol, if you've nailed it right now, so it's a matter of just your mind, your psychosomatic connection, you just think about it and your body starts to loop it. Whatever feels good for you right now, your body's so intelligent. This technology that we live in, we call home. What a blessing, everybody. What a blessing. Oh, and if you're feeling that hello back and you're feeling this beautiful connection, inner intimacy, and let's get into deeper coherence, everybody. So, again, it's just an invitation as we're deepening our relationship, deepening our inner intimacy. Hello, beautiful body. Hello, hello, hello. Oh, my home where I belong. Oh, and feeling the hello back and bringing in deeper coherence, inviting deeper coherence. And let's do it, everybody, through scale, through everything. So, through atoms and subatomic particles, cells, components of cells, things that are known and unknown, lines of fascia, lines of information, memory banks, known and unknown, systems, known and unknown. We are still learning with the miracle that this body is. And just feeling this, oh, beautiful electromagnetic living organism that is alive, that runs a code, it's a sequence, it's a loop, just feeling into it. And as we're here and we're landing deeper and softening within ourselves, just breathing that in. And you can soften even more. You can soften and you can allow whatever you believe in. Somatic Sundays, everybody, whatever you believe in, God, God is the field, the source, or love itself, because that is love. To just come and fill you up, like invite that oxytocin in, invite that love, and run an internal audit, everybody. And be curious here. Be curious because this is inner intimacy. This is curiosity. This is love. As we're building and fortifying our internal relationship to our body, to our somatic, beautiful being. And in curiosity, I'm going to ask you to ask yourself, am I able to feel more love? Is there capacity for more love? And what is the answer, everybody? For those of you that have your cameras on, you can signal to me. For those of you that want to type in the chat, when you ask, is there capacity for more love? For me, it's a definite yes. And then I ask from here, well, how much more? How much more is there? And I just feel vastness. Oof. And it moves me. Wow. So much more. And for all of us here that we're in our last call, and we've decided no more perversion and version, and we are standing in the correct hierarchy, everybody, that more love is the communion piece, right? Is oneness, is becoming one with love. That is our driving force. This is where we're wanting and inviting. Again, everybody, intention is so important. Intention is so important. There have been successful, very famous psychologists, physicists, quantum physicists, who don't necessarily even believe in a higher force of any kind, but notice something really interesting that they cannot ignore. One of the things that makes people extremely intelligent is pattern recognition. How do you practice pattern recognition, everybody? All of us here, we're doing it. Part of your TVM training is to look for patterns. This is why I tell you in the very beginning of your training, put on your trauma detective glasses, right? Your lens of perception. You're here and you're gathering information and you're looking for patterns. This makes you smarter. How does this make you smarter? One, it helps regulate your nervous system. This entire training, the way it's been put together in a nonlinear way, it's designed for people who have experienced trauma to learn how to populate their frontal lobes. Just in case you didn't know this about the TVM training, now you do. I put this training together specifically so that it will push you to occupy parts of your brain that, if you've experienced trauma, may have been hijacked, so that you can start to heal your nervous system. And like, woohoo, everybody, like, honestly, I mean, in my very non-biased opinion, I developed the training. Like, how smart is that, right? To be able to learn something, help other people, and as you're doing it, you're actually helping yourself. Is that non-zero sum? Is that win-win-win? You do something wonderful. Okay, so the very nature of our existence is the same. This is why here, love. We're doing this for love, everybody. Were you able to tune into that? Were you all able to feel that there's more? Okay, so let's tune into our desires here, everybody, that that is the driving force. It is why we're here, and this is why we're cleaning up money. We're cleaning up our relationship with wealth because of love, for love, to clean up the field. What does that mean? We're going to clean up loose energy tabs. So, one of the things that I do, again, coming back to the statement that I was making earlier, that I work with everybody who are wanting to move through their scaling process, is start to have a money date. What does that mean? Have a date with money. What does that mean? You're going to set up a ritual that is somatic. So the whole purpose is starting to regulate the nervous system so that money is no longer an unsecure attachment. We're going to start to create secure attachment. So we're going to, if you want to light up a candle, you're going to set a time and a date, and you're going to do this at least once a month. I highly recommend doing this once a week. I mean, for me, like, Saturday nights, Sunday mornings are wonderful time. So again, if we're in a pattern that we don't like, this is how we're going to create what? A pattern interruption. We're going to change the sequence we're in. So what does a money date entail? You're going to open up your bank accounts. You're going to bless them. You're going to look at your spending. You're going to become like a full-blown um, accountant to your life. You're going to look at your bills. What are you spending your money on? And how much money is coming in? How much money is going out? How does that make you feel? Where is your nervous system responding when you look at these patterns? Does it feel good? Does it feel contracted? And then it's not just a matter now of making peace with the past pattern, right? Which is, how do you start to change a pattern? I.e., how do you change circuitries? You start by acceptance, radical acceptance. I see you, I believe you, I witness you. This is part of your basic training. We do the exact same thing. I see you. I see the pattern. We're curious here, everybody. We're curious because we're going to change it. We're not going to change it by pretending it's not happening. We're going to look at it. We're going to be like, okay, I see you. This is maturation, everybody. If we've had trauma around money, it means there are fragmentation that has happened in our psyche. It means there are parts of us, whether we've inherited it or this is something that we've got imprinted on. There's fragmentation that is happening, which means it's an immature, it is not a fully grounded um, part of our psyche, part of our somatic experience with regards to money. So we're going to grow this part within ourselves as we grow the money baby. So we're going to mature the parts of us. We're going to get it from fragmentation and get it back into this more integrated state of being. So your money dates are extremely important. What you're going to do is you're going to start to create agreements with yourself. Every time there's X amount of money, so for every $10 or $100 that you make in your account, you can say, I'm going to put $1 away into savings and I'm not going to touch it. And you're going to, right now, another one that I do when we're working really from base level, it's what level, how much money or assets do you need to actually feel safe and stable in the world? This is specifically important. Um, this is specifically important if you don't have um, assets, i.e., you're living month to month, hand to mouth. If you don't have systems that you can fall back on, it's extremely important to figure out what is necessary in order for you to be stable, to feel stabilization. Money is a neurological stabilizer. When you have money, you feel more grounded and safe. It's extremely important if we are to live an embodied somatic experience in our lives to have a regulated relationship. So you're going to figure out how much money that is. It could be $20,000. It could be 50,000. It doesn't matter. Whatever you need in terms of amount in as an asset, as a security, as a buffer. I invite you. This is part of cleaning up all leaky tabs. This is part of rehabilitating their relationship with money. How much money do you need to feel safe? And really be honest with yourself. Don't short sell yourself. Okay. Another part of your money date is you are going to also look into how you're going to grow your money, which is a whole other, um, we're going to dive into that a little bit here, but we're going to dive into it in another call. How you're going to grow your money. Right now, we're just doing basic financial, like hygiene. One of the biggest things that we don't teach children in schools is how to be successful with money. They teach you that you got to get grades, they teach you that you have to work, but they don't teach you financial hygiene, money hygiene, how to be literate with money. And therefore, I highly recommend you diving into learning what is available out there to you. Most people don't know. This is why there's a whole profession called financial advisors, financial whatever. And people pay these people money. And guess what? For a lot of these professions, there are no degrees. These are people that are self taught. They go and they do a certificate, and boom, they're now a financial advisor. And the amount of information that they have is not necessarily more than what you can find out on your own. And so one of the things that I recommend at the very beginning is finding a podcast. I like listening. There's this lady, she's called the Financial Feminist. I like listening to her. You may jive with different people who have different you know, books, podcasts, whatever. Find what works for you. And part of your money date is you're going to learn about your financial options. You're going to learn what is available to you. For instance, if you have credit cards and your credit card is on a certain percent, most people don't know this, but you can call up your bank and tell them, I want to consolidate my credit. Can you lower my credit percent? And what they can do is they can transfer you to another and take all of the money so you don't pay as much interest. They change your interest rates for you. And one of the things that most people also don't understand, just this is just like an example, is that you can call up another bank and say, "Hey, I have this much credit card, whatever debt with this bank. Are you willing to give me a better interest rate and buy me?" And you can call back your original bank and tell them, "Hey, this other bank is willing to give me this match. Are you willing to negotiate?" More often than not, they don't want to lose you as a customer because you are a customer. Things like that. These things I did not know. I took me like I only figured this stuff out and learned this stuff like maybe 10, 15 years ago. And so again, I wish I knew this stuff sooner. It would have saved me a whole bunch. Knowledge is power, everyone. Don't be afraid to learn about how the money system works. Don't be the kind of person, this is really prevalent in spiritual communities where they dig a hole in the ground and they put their head there like the ostrich or whatever, just pretend like, oh, like ignorance is bliss. No, knowledge is power. We're regulated enough to look at something, have enough resiliency within ourselves and figure out solutions, right? We're stepping out of victim mode. This was all part of us shaking off no more perversion and inversion. Remember, everybody? Okay. Which means the whole like, it stresses me out, therefore it's dysregulating. No, baby. It means your nervous system needs to build regulation and resiliency. We're not going to run away from it. It's here. This is what life looks like. And we are going to, again, address it. So we're going to clean things up. This is your financial date. And what you're going to do, again, one of the easiest things you can do on your money dates is also, this is when I pay my bills and I bless everything. I pay my bills. I do it with a smile. And again, use your tools. You can use tapping, you can do deep breathing until it feels really normal, until you start to get into a harmony. Again, everyone, this is so important for you to remember. Money is a currency, which means it's an energy or a current. It flows, it comes and it goes. It's an energy. There is really no beginning or no end. This whole thing that there's not enough money is not real. So again, the more you start to understand that you have a life force current that runs through you, that in the hierarchy of existence is above money, what does that mean? This money baby is reaching up to you. It wants to touch you. It wants to be with you. And this is where you're going to change your relationship and you're going to be like, okay, money baby, I'm going to let you come into communion with me. and you can come self TVM, everybody. You got the tools. Oxytocin, self TVM. Allow the money to come into communion with you. This is a money baby. It's not you reaching up to it. No, you're in the correct hierarchy now. It's below you, it's trying to reach you. And it's like, I want you. I want to be with you. And you're like, oh my goodness, baby, I love you. It feels good when we're together. These are the conversations, the internal dialogue that I'm inviting you, and be playful, everybody. Why be playful? Why do I call it a money baby? Why do we call it money dates? Why? And why I invite you to smile? Because we can rewire our nervous system so much faster when we are playful about things. It literally triggers heightened neuroplasticity. We know that there's enough research that shows us that learning is the fastest way to learn new habits. Again, what does that mean? We're going to create a new loop, a new pattern with money. Sounds good, everybody? Okay, beautiful. All right. Okay, so also part of this is again your commitment to sending money. Okay, so why is this important? Because it will help you reshape your relationship with money, understanding that money is a friend, which is a big one. Money is a lover. Money cares for you. These are really good mantras to have. Money craves you. And let me just take this up here, and I'm just going to copy and paste this into the chat so that you can all just have it. These are your little mantras, and you can do whatever you want because here's the deal. Like, again, learning to be in the perspective of money, put yourself in money's shoes. Money's looking at you like it's like, oh my goodness, this beautiful, shiny person that I love and I crave and I want to be with. And you, if you're dysregulated, you're like, I want you, but I'm afraid of you or whatever. We're here to change that, right? So we're like, okay, here, come here, money baby. I'm not only going to take care of you and grow you, but we're going to get into a really healthy relationship together. Also, if you have a plant, there's a plant right behind me. If you have a plant, I don't know if anyone here pets their plants and talks to them. Um, I highly recommend you do that if you don't. However, that being said, you can also visualize the money that you are growing, your relationship is also within you, and you can just gently be like, I'm right now in my communion with money, and I'm caressing myself, and we're becoming one. And you can really use these different somatic tools to really nurture an internal relationship that allows your nervous system to not have resistance to being in communion with money. And so, again, we're going from baseline here, everybody, and then we're going to be growing and scaling and expanding. So, again, one of the biggest things here I invite everyone to do on this call is to own that you are a somatic practitioner. Seriously, can you own it, everybody? We are somatic practitioners. We are TVM practitioners. We are somatic practitioners. We are the experts on all of this. We know how the nervous system works. Can we own it? Like, hello, yes, like own it, everybody. And what does that mean? It means that we are literally set up. We already have the tools. We are already set up for success. Like, so let's just apply the tools, basically. That's the whole thing. So and let's smile. Like literally, this is a again celebration nation moment, everybody. Like let's smile, let's be playful. This is really good stuff. Like again, and the commitment is what? Why am I showing up to these calls? Why are you showing up to these calls? The commitment is that we are here in a self commitment to ourselves and to the community and to many and to the value of the service that we bring into the world. We're here because we are on a mission. We're here to make the world a better place. We're here to help humanity. And in that, we are here to no longer entertain inversion, perversion. We're no longer part of that. And we're also embracing non-zero sum, which is the truest essence of how our body works. So if I'm going to become embodied, everybody, happy somatic Sunday. So I'm going to become embodied, truly embodied. And I'm going to be like, yeah, I'm a somatic practitioner and I'm into embodiment and I'm embodying this. Then I'm going to start to live life. Why do we love love so much? Because it is a non-zero sum. Love, and within love, there's no one that loses, everybody. Our body, the very nature of the scale, the pattern that we live in, right? So if you think of your body as a pattern, right? It's a sequence of information. It's a pattern. Does your body like decide, oh, today we don't like liver, and so therefore liver is going to lose? And we're all going to win. It doesn't work that way. They have a joint destiny. They actually view each other optimized. If you think about the cells, you think about the components of the cells, you think about the systems, the organs, the lines of fascia. Like I work with clients who part of their body gets so traumatized by physical injury that the whole limb, for instance, experiences neuromuscular amnesia. The body no longer even identifies that the limb is there, but it doesn't get rid of the limb. It's on standby. It's like, wow, it's taken so many hits that I don't recognize it's there anymore. However, the rest of the body creates layers of compensation saying, hey, baby, it's okay. I got you. Right now, you're in this amnesia process. You're in deep disassociation because you have so much pain. You've experienced so much pain. But guess what? The rest of us are going to rewire ourselves. We're going to reconfigure ourselves because you're part of us. That's how our bodies work. It works in a non-zero sum equation. It means I have a vested interest in all of us winning because where one goes, we all go. And that's what I'm doing here with this community. Where one goes, we all go. I have a vested interest in all of you winning. You have a vested interest in seeing me win. We have a vested interest in each other winning. This is what non-zero sum is. This is a true embodiment of somatics, everybody. And again, this is what love is. This is the driving force, the biggest force. This is why you see this in all these different religions and traditions. They're like, love is power. God is love, and God is power, and therefore love is power. And so this is what we're here for, everybody. And again, I'm curious. I don't know about you, but I'm like, yo, I want to experience all the love. Wait, what? I get to experience more love? Is there more love? I want to know what that feels like. And so let's clean this baby up, everybody. So we can have an oxytocin, like biohacking village. Hello. The true reason we're here. Okay. Love you. Love you all. Okay. So one of the biggest last things that I'm going to wrap up our call here um, is a dropping a seed that we're going to expand on in our next call. And it's again about patterns and something for all of us to kind of just sit with. Okay. So we know that our best prediction of future behavior is past behavior because it's a loop, it's a pattern. We understand that we are in a loop and a pattern with our relationship to money. One of your homeworks here today is trying to find the maximum you've ever received in terms of money. Have you been able to cross that threshold? If you have, how many times? Does it feel scary? Where does your nervous system go? One of your homeworks here today is to start to build, travel the cascade, everybody. Use your TVM. Self TVM is your friend. Use TVM to travel the cascade into what is beyond the threshold, into the unknown. Because what? What do we know about our nervous system? Our nervous system will always choose a known pattern, even if it's unfavorable, over an unknown pattern, even if it's more favorable. And if we are, what sets people apart, people who are extremely wealthy, who have regulated relationships with money versus people who aren't, is that they are extremely comfortable with the notion of risk, of being in the unknown. They're comfortable being there. They're like, hey, I know I'm good. And how do they get into that state? Some of them maybe it's generational wealth. Some of them is they're just very good at. They're very talented in making money. Well, here's the deal, everybody. We are somatic practitioners. We owned it. We can do the same thing. We're going to go and take ourselves into that space, into the threshold of the unknown, into the pattern beyond of what is comfortable, what we already know. And from that space, we're going to start to travel the cascade. And we are going to work with whatever comes up within our systems. And we're going to start to create resiliency so that the unknown or the new pattern starts to become known somatically internally. So when the internal landscape changes, again, the external starts to change. And that's where, for those of you that have hesitated to put, because this is all signs of dysregulation, by the way, you've hesitated to commit to um, changing your prices. You've hesitated to um, put out an offer. You've hesitated to this, that, and the other. These are all signs of dysregulation. People who have robust regulation resiliency are able to go into these uncomfortable spaces and make very quick decisions. What does that mean? Of someone, where do we make decisions from, everybody? When you are able to make good decisions, where are the decisions coming from? I'll answer that question right now. Question to all of the TVM practitioners. Yes, your frontal lobe. Okay, thank you for signaling. Okay. And if you have a dysregulated relationship to anything, where are the decisions coming from? Where is it's more of a reaction? Where is it coming from? Mm-hmm. Love the practitioners. Yes. You're coming in from these different parts of your brain, right? Your reactive, your spine, your amygdala, you're in this reactive state. It's your sympathetic. It's like, oh, I'm trying to check out how to survive. So it's a reaction. So one of the things that makes people extremely successful when it comes to finances, financial wealth, one of the patterns, again, pattern recognition, everybody, what makes you a good detective, a good researcher, for those of you that want to research, it's a sign of intelligence. What is intelligence? It's accessing your frontal lobe. So keep searching for the patterns, everybody. One of the patterns that they found with people who are extremely financially savvy or wealthy, they are consistent in their wealth and they're able to grow or scale with what seems like effortlessly, is that they are able to get into states of heightened risk or the unknown, or into these spaces that are like, I'm not sure. And they're able to run an evaluation and they're willing to quote unquote lose because to them nothing's really a loss. It's always a learning experience. Like, what did I learn here? One of the things that I work with peak performance. I work with some people that are not just millionaires, billionaires. One of the common things that I see across the board, and this is a trait that we can imprint on. Hello, somatic practitioners in the house. Yes, they have the capacity. They always see everything is, what did I learn here? How did I win here? What did I gain here? It's never, I lost this, and they don't dwell on it. So their lens of perception is not problem oriented. It's not even solution oriented as much as it is, how did I grow here? How, and this was the cost of the lesson. This was how much it cost to learn this. Phenomenal. Let's move on. Next. And they don't dwell on it. They're able to, what are we learning here? They're able to switch circuitry really quickly. They have robust resiliency. They're able to see everything as a win. So they are wired to see positive things. There was this awesome study that was published. I was trying to find a link for it last night for today's call, and I couldn't find it, but I know I have it somewhere. Around what people are called, what quote unquote individuals are called lucky, right? In reality, it's a quantum sequence that they're in. They found the mathematical equation or a pattern where they're able to happily and joyfully take a risk with a positive outcome. So they have a very regulated response, not only just regulated. If you feel like you're lucky and you feel like I'm going to win regardless, so what does that mean? Again, are they operating in non-zero sum or zero sum? Are they operating in win-lose or are they always in win-win-win? Think about that. So what, they're in a pattern. They are in a pattern or a sequence where they believe that they win every single time. And so if I hold on to the mantra within myself, And this is part of your homework, everybody. I run these audits all the time with myself. These calls that we're having are extremely valuable because these are some of the same tools that I use with people to help them. And I'm bringing this to the community because I love you all. So run an audit. Run an audit. And instead of how did I win and how did I lose and any of that, you can have that, start with that, definitely. Then grab another piece of paper. Like if you see my desk here, I just like I have paper upon paper upon paper. I run these programs with different individuals. I run them with myself. I run them with groups. And your original chain of thought, it's really important to know where you are, right? This is also part of your TVM training. We create a map. We have to know where the starting point is. And then we start when we know where we want the end point to be. But it's really important to know where we're at right now. Again, no burying the head in the sand. We're here to see it, to really audit it. Okay, so where are you right now? When you audit your life, how do you do pros and cons? What did I win? What did I lose? What did I learn? Great, that's a wonderful starting point. I invite you to do that. And then I invite you to take another piece of paper and run an audit through a different lens of perception. Run another audit and be like, okay, based on my life right now, everything that went right, everything that didn't go so right, how did I win there too?